Welcome to today's ARX webinar on transforming business processes with digital signatures. My name is Ronan Lavelle. I'm the UK Country Manager for ARX, and on today's call we're going to show you a little bit of a background about how digital signature technologies can be used as an enabling technology to drive through significant transformational change within business processes, and how digital signatures can eradicate paper and make your businesses more responsive and more efficient by eradicating paper from key business processes. Today's webinar is going to be recorded. A copy of the recording will be posted on the ARX website at arx.com. A link will also be sent to all attendees after today's call, and a copy of today's presentation can also be made available if necessary as well. A few little housekeeping points. If you have any questions to make during today's presentation, you are all in listen-only mode. So if you're familiar with GoToWebinar, the system that we're using to host today's webinar, you can write any questions you have. On the right-hand side of your screen, there will be a question dialog box. We can pick those up and see them, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have at the end of the call today. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to start the presentation today. So we're going to go very quickly through some of the key basics here about what are digital signatures, can you trust them, can they be used in regulated environments, can they be used for legal defense, etc. What is the issue with the current way that many organizations are working? Even with technology solutions like enterprise content management and workflow solutions, there's still a lot of paper out there. Why is that bad? ARX have co-sponsored a recent survey with AIM, which is the Content Management Association. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And then I'm going to show you a demonstration about how the CoSign digital signature solution can be used to make your lives easier, but also your processes more streamlined. And of course, we'll take your questions and answers at the end as well. So just off at the top level, digital signatures have been around for about 10 or 15 years now, and there are a number of highly respected international standards out there, from the ISO through to NIST, through to different organizations, and they basically comprise of two core components. The first is what you would probably expect to see in a document that you would receive from somebody who had signed it electronically or digitally. First is a signature, something that looks like your real physical signature, and it may also include the printed person's name, a timestamp, date stamp. It may also have things like their job title and also the reason for signing. These are all things that you would expect to see in a document. The things that you don't necessarily see in the document that make it actually a digital signature are the things that you can use to verify the integrity and the authenticity of the user, and whether the document has been changed since it was signed. So we call this the digital fingerprint, essentially, and in ARX we combine a unique alphanumeric code called a hash code, which is generated every time a document is saved, and it represents that unique version of the document. And we combine that with encryption keys, essentially a cryptography, private key, and a public key, and also a digital certificate, in addition to your actual physical signature. And combined, all those elements comprise of a digital signature. It's somewhat different to an electronic signature, which is only actually the top half of this screen. The digital signature will be embedded in the document and can be verified as a business record at any point of time in the future, even without any ARX or proprietary software. So essentially all you have to do is right-click on the signature in a document, electronic document, and verify through in a PDF or a Word document who signed it, was it valid, was the signature valid, was the certificate valid, etc., etc. So in a nutshell, that's what we're talking about today. The reason why this is important is because many documents, as you'll see in a moment, in an enterprise do get printed out to gather approvals or official signatures and so on. This is a legally compliant and very convenient way to achieve electronic and digital ways of working. So just on the point about trust and integrity of digital signatures, many people look at this from three angles. One is our legal and regulatory framework that supports the use of digital signatures. The second is the technology solution, like ARX's CoSign solution that you're currently evaluating. Does that meet and exceed the current legislation, regulations, or even financial audit requirements in some cases? And then the third element of this is really, are you culturally ready to accept digital signatures? So some of you may be absolutely ready to dive both feet into this world. Others may want to look at prioritizing the parts of your business that you want to deploy digital signatures into first. Maybe the most highly regulated, the most risky parts of your business, for instance, or areas where your financial auditors are mandating that you use this kind of technology. We would, however, very much encourage our clients and our customers to deploy digital signature technology across an enterprise basis within your procurement, sales, marketing, finance, legal, HR processes. Anywhere where there is paper is a core target process for digital signature signing. So I made reference at the top of the call to a survey that ARX had co-sponsored with the Content Management Association called AIM. This survey was carried out a little bit earlier on in 2013, so it's pretty current, and it surveyed roughly, I think, 1,000 organizations in Europe and North America. And the results of that survey were really quite interesting. The most interesting thing for me is that the respondents said that nearly half of all of the documents in their corporate repositories typically needed to be printed out in order to gather one or more signatures. So that's really quite staggering. So if you imagine just the sheer volume of content within your organization, almost half on average of you will print out at least one version of that content to gather signatures. And the other thing is that gathering signatures takes a lot of time and therefore actually a lot of cost as well. So even if we park the issue of postage, which in the UK I think a first class stamp nowadays costs about 60 pence, which is not an insignificant amount of money when you have maybe thousands or tens of thousands of documents being sent out. It takes on average more than a day to gather one signature on a document. So if you have a whole trail of different stakeholders that need to sign off a change request, a contract, a standard operating procedure document, or any other purchase requisition, invoice approval, etc., then these just really grind your business to a halt, create unnecessary delay, and at the end of the day affect your competitiveness and your ability to operate your business efficiently. So what we're going to show you today is how you can use a really tactical solution, a digital signature solution, in a highly strategic way in your business. You can deploy this technology very quickly and have a significant positive impact on your process improvements at the back end. So as I mentioned, paper really does kill competitiveness. It's really a bit of a no-brainer. We don't really need to explain the fact that paper in a business process just slows everything down. It's expensive to print out. It takes a long time to gather signatures, and it involves real costs. It involves real costs and people's time. If you currently live in the world of printing out contracts and long procedural documents to gather signatures, and then scan them back in again, and then upload them into some corporate repository, and then what do you do with the paper and the electronic copy? Do you have a policy for paper and electronic records? Do you need to then send that to somebody else? These all create huge inefficiencies in your business processes, and this is one of the key enabling technologies, I would argue, alongside an enterprise content management and a workflow strategy. You absolutely do need to be building in a digital signature strategy into your enterprise content management strategies and policies. If you send content out by couriers, then just in the construction and engineering space, this organization reckons that that almost $500 million a year is spent just sending out documents and plans and CAD diagrams and so on for signing and counter-signing. So it's very, very expensive. Life sciences companies like Pfizer recommend that the cost, the all-in weighted cost of getting a signature on a document is around $30. So if you imagine all of the thousands, tens of thousands of documents in a typical organization that would need to gather signatures, that's an awful lot of money that you can save off the bottom line. Actually, the great thing about digital signatures is that this isn't a one-time return on investment. This is an ongoing incremental gain to your business. So in year 2, year 3, year 4, you are saving physical time, physical cost and time, and continue to improve efficiencies. It's not a one-time benefit. So some of the other results from the AIM survey is that this obviously, if you can open up a Word document or you receive a PDF document, and sub 5 seconds you can, in Microsoft Word or Excel or a PDF, sign that document with your reason, with a digital signature, you clearly save a lot of your time and resources and effort in printing, scanning, signing, uploading, etc. It obviously also improves approval cycle times, and clearly there's an environmental angle to this as well, around saving paper and costs and so on as well. So we quite often advise and talk to our customers, and we have many business consulting and systems integration partners that we work with as well in different geographies around the world that work with our customers increasingly on things like using digital signatures as part of a digital transformation program or digital transformation strategy. How can you eradicate paper from your key business processes and start to transform your business from paper to digital? So quite often we will talk to customers about their priority business processes first. So if you're a regulated organization like a life sciences business or a financial services company or a government agency or a local government organization, something like that, then you might well have controlled or regulated processes where somebody else, like a regulator or the government or a legislator or an auditor, is telling you that you need to, if you want to have electronic content and that needs to be signed off and audited, then in many cases the auditor or the regulator will mandate the use of electronic or digital signatures. We obviously want to encourage our clients to take advantage of this key enabling technology, not just in regulated processes, but also in any other key business process where paper is grinding that process to a halt or creating inefficiencies. So you might want to then start to prioritize and create a strategy around how your business can benefit from digital signatures. So for instance, looking at key business processes that generate revenue for your business, or indeed key processes in procurement that cost your businesses money, and how can you streamline those? And then obviously then looking at all of your different departmental organizations and processes around HR, onboarding, accounts payable, accounts receivable, legal contracting, NDAs, and so on, procurement, sales, marketing, operations, IT, quality management. All these kind of areas are all key target areas. So just to quickly sum up before I show you a quick demonstration of of ARX's CoSign solution. Our solution is a little bit different from the general standards around digital signatures in that we believe it's very important for a business user, if you're CFO or your CEO or your client or your supplier, partner, etc., was to receive a document that was digitally signed by yourselves. We think it's very important that they actually do see a physical representation of your actual signature, as well as the reasons why you signed, the date and the timestamp in the document. So we add your physical signature to the digital certificate and the signing keys and the document hash code. That in combination creates the ARX CoSign digital signature. And as I mentioned before, it's very important to remember that the CoSign server is the environment where the digital signature is generated, but once the signature has been generated, it will live and is embedded in the document that has been signed. So you never need to refer back to the CoSign server or indeed any third party either to verify the integrity or the authenticity of a CoSign document. So they really can be used for business critical records and can be retained for long periods of time. Some of our clients and customers are in the public sector or highly regulated sectors where they need to keep business records for a long period of time, and even in 5 years or 10 years time still need to verify without ARX's presence the integrity of that document and signature. So what we've done at the top level, if you're new to the world of digital signatures, I think it's pretty easy to understand the ability to sign a document in digital format, keep it in that format. You don't need to print it out, sign, scan, upload anymore. But what we've done with ARX and with CoSign is to make CoSign work in the way that you want to work. So at the top level, we are talking about digital signatures, but actually the level of sophistication and the ability to embed digital signatures in the way that you work and in your key business processes really, in my opinion, starts to add a lot of value to the way that you may want to run your business and your key processes. So the first thing is that CoSign is embedded in the key popular applications that you use on the desktop. So it's embedded in the ribbon function in Microsoft Office applications. So if you're in Excel or Word and you want to digitally sign the document, you can put a signature field in the document and sign it within 3 to 5 seconds. Even if you were to replace that with a upload a document into somebody's cloud service and sign it there, in terms of pure time process improvements, we will win by an order of magnitude over any scan or upload kind of process as well. Equally, if you receive a PDF or you want to sign a PDF, or if you have a document that is not in a format that currently you can sign, ARX will allow you to transform that into a PDF format and sign it directly there as well. We also embed CoSign into core enterprise content management platforms and solutions. So we have an excellent integration into Microsoft SharePoint, which I'm going to show you in a few moments, into OpenText Content Server. We work also with people like OpenText eDocs solution, Alfresco Box, M-Files, and a whole range of other solutions that you can see on the arx.com website. We also integrate CoSign into business process management and workflow tools as well. So this means that if you approve a business process, like an employee onboarding process, or if you're in IT and you're signing off a new laptop for an employee or a new mobile phone or something, where the content that needs to be signed is a known entity, you can combine the workflow process and the workflow task with the digital signature execution as well. So it means you can click on a button in a workflow that says I approve, and that will automatically sign on an ad hoc basis a document, or even kick off a batch signing process as well. And as I'll show you in a moment, also we also support digital signatures on any mobile device or indeed any web device through our web app as well. Infrastructure-wise, the signature is generated at our server level, and that can be deployed on-premise within your own environment or in our secure cloud environment. And I just want to make the point that the CoSign Cloud is a hybrid cloud service in that your documents will always remain within your core secure internal repositories, and it is the document hash code that we referred to before that travels in an encrypted fashion to our server, either on-premise or in our secure data centers, and then we generate the digital signature in our server, and then it is embedded back in the documents in your repository. So at no point in time do you ever need to upload any of your documents into any ARX cloud-based service or indeed any on-premise service. The documents will remain in your own repositories under your own security regimes, and the signature is the only thing that's generated in our servers. It's a very important point to make, I think. Okay, so I'm going to go into a quick demonstration here. So I'm just going to freeze my screen. And okay, just one moment. Wonderful. Windows 8, it's impossible to find your file explorer. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to show you here are some level 1 basics. So the first thing is with CoSign, there are two components to it. Typically, you can deploy this and sign everything using our zero software download web app. So you can use any device and sign the document, any document, using the web app. We also have a client side install that embeds CoSign, as I mentioned before, in Microsoft Office. But that also allows us to do things like right-click on PDFs, for instance, and click on Sign with CoSign. So let's do that. So we have a client called OmniSign. This is an ARX application that allows us to either convert any content type to PDF or indeed to sign PDFs. And this enables us really, really quickly to sign digitally signed documents in PDF. So here, this document has already got actually a signature field embedded in it, and that's an interesting point to make, that once you get used to using digital signatures, you might want to engineer your document templates so that where previously you might have marked with an X, please sign here, in this new environment, we are able to put essentially a virtual X or a signature field in a document. You can also, of course, put an ad hoc signature field in a document as well. Okay, so here I can just simply double-click to field here. It asks me to authenticate myself. So in this case, I'm going to use a username and password. However, ARX does support multiple authentication methods, including two-factor and one-time passwords as well. And here it's going to say, okay, and as I mentioned before, I personally think if I was to receive a document from somebody else that I do want to see their signature, if possible. ARX does support a font stylization of your signature if you don't have or you can't add in your actual signature. But I do usually want to see somebody's signature as well as a reason as to why I'm approving this document and my title. So these are all the things here that many industry regulations, financial services and life sciences regulations require you to have. You know, authenticate yourself, put in a reason for signing. Your title is really a personal thing, actually, as well as a date and a timestamp. So this is now a digitally signed document. This, as you saw there, by the way, the digital signature was created ultra fast. So in this demonstration, I'm actually using the CoSign Cloud infrastructure. So my signature was generated in our cloud-based service, and it was then uploaded or embedded, if you like, in this PDF document. It's going to be here forevermore as long as this PDF document exists, and anyone can simply right-click on that and either validate the signature or have a look at the details of it to see, you know, the status of it, who signed it, was the certificate that was used and used to confirm the identity of me, the signer, is that valid at the time of signing, and when was it signed, and so on. So we get quite a lot of questions, by the way, about things like the time stamp and the date stamp. This is the signing time as per the ARX server. The way that you record time is entirely up to you. It's a server-side configuration. You can either have a universal time or different adjusted times, or we can use third-party time services. The reason why that's important is because for some organizations, recording actually when a contract was signed is very, very important to them. Let's have a look at a Word document here. So an NDA, for instance, in this case. And by the way, we also get a lot of questions about contracts and agreements, and obviously it's a very strong use case for digital signatures. You know, your general counsel and CFO want to sign a document internally, and then they want to send it to an external party. So you can do that really quickly with CoSign. You can talk to ARX about different commercial packages as to how countersigners should sign a document, whether it's a one-time signature or that external party has a retained relationship and with you, whether they license CoSign directly themselves or whether you do from your perspective. But either way, you can massively streamline the contract cycle time if you're talking about contracts and agreements by doing this. So in Microsoft Word, here we simply right-click. Sorry, we simply, where am I? Okay, let's go back here. Okay, right-click and sign the document. Just a very quick process. Again, confirm who you are, and then with a bit of luck, interesting enough, I'm not sure what's happening to my screen refreshes here, but okay. Let me do this another way, actually. But I can do this up here. Let's just pretend that we're going to add in a signature field here. So we can see in Microsoft Office here, we have in the ribbon a CoSign added into that ribbon. I can add in a signature field here in this document, and I think some strange reason my Word here is not playing game again here. No, okay, so maybe that's something wrong with that document there. I'll go into another type here, but this is a good example of another use case here where a document may need to be signed by many different people. Usually a document might be signed by one person if it's a contract or something, but if it's a change request form, like in this case, you might want to have things like sectional signing. So here you can validate any signatures. These have all been signed by various different people, myself included. And you can also, as I said before, prepare digital signatures for signing here again, so I can sign that signature field there as well. Okay, this hopefully now will work. Okay, and I can sign that document. So whether it's, in this case, a sectional signing where you might want to go through a workflow process and gather different people's approvals, standard operating procedural documents or compliance policy statements, all these kind of things would be good examples of where more than one person might need to sign a document, whereas contracts, agreements, other documents that require one-time signing is also fine as well. So if I was to create a new document here, Let's see. Hopefully this should work. I think possibly there was an issue with the document format before. So if I was to say, this is a new agreement, okay, and I'm going to sign this document here. Basically, with CoSign, I can sign this, really quickly. So no more printing out, signing, scanning, uploading. No more even uploading to some cloud service, signing in, signing it, getting it back again. Literally within 5 seconds, I can digitally sign any Word, Excel, PDF, even things like Bentley CAD diagrams, AutoCAD diagrams if you're in the engineering sector. So all these kind of things that require defendability in a court of law or with a regulator or an auditor. This is not a JPEG copy of my signature. It is a fully validated digital signature that will stand up for legal and auditor and regulatory scrutiny. Okay, let's maybe go back to our presentation here. And sorry, I'm just having issues with Office 2013 here, so I'm just getting used to it. Okay, so right. So whether you're in a PDF or a Word document, you will always be able to verify a signature that has been signed with CoSign. And this is completely independent of any proprietary technology or software from ARX. It is embedded in the document, and you can always see who signed that document and what their intentions were when they signed it. So anyone that wants to scrutinize the validity of that document, whether it's a lawyer or a regulator, will be very happy to see this kind of stuff. As we showed you in Microsoft Office, literally CoSign is embedded in the ribbon in Word. You can sign within sub 5 seconds, huge performance improvements. If you use ECM solutions like Microsoft SharePoint, equally you can right-click and look at the properties of any document in SharePoint or in OpenText Content Server or Alfresco, or any of these kind of solutions, or Box, and you can click on Sign with CoSign. That opens up a document viewer, and you can sign invoices, contracts, SOPs, all these kind of things immediately within that environment. Even within your workflow tools, so Nintex, K2, SharePoint Workflow, or using the ARX Web Services API layer, very rapidly integrate into Metastorm or any other BPM or workflow tool as well. And in essence, what that does is it gives you the ability to receive a workflow task, like an email, for instance, that says, please review this contract, this agreement, this document, this SOP, and if you're happy, sign it. So you have a workflow task as well as a document task. And a great example of that is actually a content-based workflow that will probably require you to print out the document. And the great thing about electronic processes is that they actually create large volumes of paper. The last mile of many business processes does in fact involve paper. So in this example, we can link up the approval process in that task with a digital signature signing task. So if you click on I approve in a workflow, it can automatically sign the document for you as well. So it closes the task or moves it on to the next stage as well as digitally signs the document. And that can present some significant opportunities to enhance business process performance as well. In certain situations, you might want to combine an electronic signature solution with a digital signature solution. And in fact, ARX CoSign provides both abilities, both an electronic signature as well as a digital signature. So just to put it into context, an electronic signature essentially is your signature with a date and a timestamp. The digital signature is the irrefutable PKI signed with a digital certificate that you can defend with a regulator, an auditor, or a lawyer. However, whether you're in the healthcare sector and you're looking at hospital release forms, or you're a property real estate agent and you want to sign up a client for a property lease agreement or something like this where you have members of the public, we can combine an electronic signature solution, and they may use things like an ePad, like in this example here, and the external party can sign the document electronically, and then a member of your staff, for instance, your internal user, can then digitally countersign that document and then lock it down so that it cannot be changed, and the digital signature will then be the overriding guardian of that document. So really useful example there where you can combine both electronic and digital signatures together, and then present that, archive it away for as a business record, an electronic record as well. So we have use cases where we're talking to retail banks about things like loan agreements or credit agreements, or even new account sign-ups where external third parties either want to walk into a branch or want to sign a document from home or from another location. They can do that very quickly using this kind of solution. We also provide a trust-based environment that allows you to share your root certificates. You can maybe follow up with ARX after this call if you want to understand more about root certificates. But essentially, if you are AIG Insurance or Abbott Labs, a huge pharmaceutical company, or one of these kind of companies, or FedEx, and you want to have seamless trust between you and your trading partners, when they right-click on your signatures, they go, yes, we know who you are. It's a bit like when you do business and you shake hands with a business partner or a client or a supplier. This is a digital handshake, essentially, where you can publish your root certificate for free, and anyone can instantly validate any of your signatures. It's called CoSign Nation, and if you do a quick Google search on that, you can find a lot more about that. But it's a great ecosystem where ARX customers can share documents securely together in that environment. Okay, so just to wrap up, I think possibly those people on today's call already understand the core premises around digital signatures, but I think the business impact of them is really quite significant, and it's something that we would urge you to think about on an enterprise level. Think about the key business processes in your business that today generate paper, that tomorrow could remain in digital format and compliant format using digital signatures. So, from our perspective, this is about time. It's about reducing the time that you spend to authorize and sign off on documentation. You can do it in literally seconds in CoSign. Also with any applications that you commonly work in, so whether that's PDFs or Microsoft Office documents, or even we also do things like batch signing of XML data streams from mainframes and ERP systems as well. I think the important thing for most ARX customers, it's very, very important to them that documents that are signed do not leave the corporate environment, and that's the key premise with CoSign, is that your documents will always remain, whether you're using our CoSign Central on-premise deployment server or whether you're using the CoSign Cloud service, the hybrid cloud service, the content that is signed will always remain within your secure corporate environment. I think it's personally very important to use your real signature, and that is combined with your digital signature. And the opportunity to embed CoSign within your ECM solutions, as well as within your key workflow and business processes as well. It puts digital signatures right at the heart of the operations of your business. And there are lots and lots of people out there using CoSign, something like 5 million users in about 10,000 companies. So if you were to join us, you would be in very good company. We'd love to work with you to start in any small way and grow your footprint of digital signatures as wide as you want to in your organization. Before I wrap up, there's a very nice quote here from the analyst company Forrester Research, who just a couple of months ago published a new report on e-signatures. So if you go to forrester.com, you can download that report. They basically very kindly say that we are the most advanced digital signature solution in the market with the most comprehensive functionality. And if you're in IT and you're an enterprise architect or an IT strategist or a CIO, essentially what they're saying is don't even think about it, just embed digital signatures within your ECM and BPM strategy, because the instant payback is quite significant with a digital signature solution. So they can be deployed in a matter of hours. CoSign is deployed in typically 1 day, basically. And very, very positive user experience in general with your key business users. So with that, I'm going to just double check to see if there are any outstanding questions there. I will remind you, by the way, if you have any questions, on the right-hand side of your screen, there's a question dialog box, and you can type in your questions and we can pick those up and answer them. So I can see that there are a couple of questions here. So the first question here is, do documents get signed in your cloud service? So I think that's probably a question from before I mentioned that last point about the hybrid cloud service. So just to reconfirm that, any documents that are digitally signed with CoSign remain within the corporate repositories, whether that's a file share or an ECM solution, and it is only the document hash code, which is an alphanumeric code that's generated when a document is saved. That's the only thing that travels in an encrypted fashion to our server. So no, your documents do not need to be uploaded into any ARX server or service. They can be signed instantaneously on-premise within your own environment, and very securely. Okay, here we have another question from one of the more common ones that we get, which is how much does CoSign cost? So we're very transparent about this, actually. So you can check arx.com and look at the pricing that we have there. So if you are looking at CoSign Cloud, it's a global service that's priced in US dollars. It starts at $15 a user. There's a premium version which also includes CoSign integration for Microsoft SharePoint as well for $20 a user a month. There are enterprise plans also available, so if you have lots of users, please come and talk to us, and we'll happily talk to you about a quote for your specific user environment. But to answer the question, it starts at $15 a user a month for the cloud version, and can scale down with more users. Okay, I have one more question here, which is relating to can CoSign synchronize with Active Directory? Yes is the answer. So with CoSign Central, which is our on-premise deployment mode, the CoSign Central appliance server automatically synchronizes with Active Directory roles and permissions. So as people move in or out or up and down in an organization, the administration of CoSign is very low touch, particularly for on-premise deployments. And so, yep, it synchronizes with Active Directory. With our hybrid cloud service with CoSign Cloud, at the moment, user permissions and rights are manually managed. However, we are working on ADFS integration with that. So in the coming months, we would expect to also allow synchronization with Active Directory through ADFS. So there are a number of pros and cons as to whether you want to consider an on-premise deployment with our on-premise servers or take advantage of our cloud-based servers. User administration is one of those points of debate that you might want to ask yourselves. Is this something that is going to cause us issues? If you're deploying this to 50 or 100 people to start off with, then you might well be okay with the cloud-based service. If you start to add in many hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of users, then clearly the on-premise one-time cost, but also the ability to synchronize permissioning is going to be a very attractive offer for you as well, option. Okay. Let me just see. Okay, so there's one more question here about, in the demonstration, we mentioned the verification of a signature. Once it is signed, why does the document need further verification of the signature? Actually, that's a really good question, and actually the answer is it doesn't. It's more, the document is signed, and that's good enough for 99% of people. In fact, as a business user, and by the way, before I came into ARX, I was actually one of you. I was a customer that had gone to market and had evaluated different electronic and digital signature solutions, and we actually deployed this solution in our business. And in most cases, in fact, to see that the document was digitally signed was good enough. When we talk about verification, it's really, in my opinion, it's an activity that is carried out by a very small proportion of people. Either somebody who wants to understand the integrity or the intentions behind the signature, and they could be auditors or lawyers or regulators. It wouldn't necessarily always be people every time they receive a document with a digital signature. But the reason why that digital signature functionality and the verification thing is there is that if you did want to check on that authenticity of the document and the signature, that option is always available to you without any proprietary software. So that's our point about verification. It's not, in my opinion, a day-to-day thing that a business user would do, but it is always there for any qualified person to want to be able to do if they want to do that. Okay, there are no more questions on my screen at this point. I'm going to send you all, anyone who attended today's webinar will send you a copy of today's presentation. And as you can see, there are some links here at the back of this presentation. There's a quick video demonstration. There's an ROI calculator, which is actually very useful. And we'd also urge you to try CoSign yourself. You can download a fully functioning version of CoSign, and you can use it to sign Office documents and PDFs and so on. You are also able to use our new CoSign web app, which, by the way, reminds me, I forgot to actually show you that. So if you don't mind me very quickly showing you that, I'll just quickly go here. So this is available to anyone with a web browser on any mobile device, typically a tablet, we would probably recommend. But if you have people who leave the office who still need to sign documents, they can access this either with a badge or an icon on an iPad or their mobile device, or from https://sign.arx.com, and you simply authenticate yourself. And actually, we're increasingly finding that people are using the web app to sign documents even when they're in the office. It's a very quick and easy way. And here you can browse to documents in your own file share or to other repositories as well. So if I was to look at, say, my Box repository, I can look at documents that are stored, that I've saved up in Box, and I can have a look at, say, this Box overview document here, which is in PDF. And so here I can maybe go into a page with some white text. So any document that is not already in PDF, this web app will convert it automatically into PDF for you. And here I can, with either my finger, if you're on a touch screen tablet or something, or with my mouse, I can simply click on that and say this is who I am, and digitally sign that document. As simple as that, and there you are. You're all done. So very, very quick and easy digital signing, also supporting electronic signatures as well, by the way. So we have some customers who are using tablets where they interview members of the public, for instance, to sign up to services. The member of the public signs with a stylus pen, and then the internal user countersigns with a digital signature to lock the document and make sure it's all compatible and so on. All I have to do then is save it back into Box, or download a copy, or send it by email, or close that document. So that's the CoSign web app very quickly. So if you download the trial, you have the options to either use the web app and/or to download the CoSign client software, so you can sign documents in app in Word, Excel, or PDF through the Office ribbon functionality. So if there are no more questions at this time, I'll thank you very much for your time. And as I said, a copy of today's presentation will be made available to you afterwards on arx.com. We'll also send a copy of this presentation to you. We're happy for you to share that to any internal stakeholders as well. So thank you very much for your time again, and goodbye.